Good morning, investor and corporate. Welcome to Digital Roadshow Year's End 2024 Performance Review. This session will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the session by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. During Q&A, investor may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. May I now invite SCGJWD Logistics Company Limited to start the presentation.
Thank you, Stock Exchange, for introduction. Okay, so for these digital roadshow opportunities, we would like to present the performance of the company for fiscal year 2024, where we have just released the figures publicly last week. So hopefully some of you have a chance to take a look at that. But today we will try to recap all the highlights. As we have quite a limited time, please feel free to send your question to the chat box or raise your hand after the presentation. I will try to cover all the questions as much as possible. So without further delay, let's start with the presentation for today. For the company overview, right now the structure of the company is still the same after we had the merger 2 years ago. We still have the structure as shown on screen. And also we have the current footprint in 9 countries around ASEAN with over 2.3 million square meters of warehouse and yard space operation for customers. We have more than 14,000 units of fleet in our operation, as well as have more than 240 barges operating in our company. This is the structure of our business, which consists of 2 main core businesses. The first one is logistics and supply chain, which comprise the main portion of our revenue. And another part is other businesses supporting or related to logistics. You will see more details on each of these businesses, as well as revenue contribution from the financial section that will follow. This is the overview of our results from our last quarter in Q4 2024, where we had closed Q4 at the revenue of 6.33 billion baht and net profit of 185.4 million baht. And for the total year, 12 months in 2024, we closed at 24.7 billion baht with the net profit of 1.12 billion baht, which actually grew around 47% from last year. This is the distribution of revenue that we have. You see that the main portion of revenue, around 90%, was contributed by logistics and supply chain business, and around 10% from other business. And you can further see the distribution among other business units that we listed here, and we also match on the last section of these slides, where you see the details as well as some of the key index of the operation of each business unit accordingly. In the last quarter, we've been developing quite well in terms of the organic operation, and we see some of the outstanding performance for certain business units, and we have highlighted 2 of them on this slide. The first one being the general warehouse, where we have the growth in terms of the revenue as well as the gross profit margin significantly from Q3. This is the result of our additional space that we received from our joint venture company called Alpha Industrial Solution, where we take 1 new warehouse from their project and successfully sold whole space to our major customers. So this is one of the example of how we try to build synergy within our group, and we think that there are a lot more opportunity to do like this in year 2025, which I will give you a brief overview of what we plan to do soon. Also, another business that are quite interesting in the last quarter as well as the whole year is the overseas business, which is actually one of our main pillar of growth that we have put in our business plan. And you see that the overseas have grown year on year of around 37%. This is quite significant, and we believe that we still have that kind of momentum to grow more on the overseas, because we believe that the logistic opportunity is not just in Thailand, but more on the ASEAN country as well as a linkage between these countries. We also have shown you some of the related interesting industry that somehow have some impact on our business operation. A lot of investors have some concern regarding our service that were given to SCG Group, because we are now part of SCG and we are known as the flagship logistic operator for them. And the commodity business, namely the product like the cement, construction material, steel, coal, and some other things are somehow one of our major base cargo that we use do the job for the customers. A lot of concern has been raised regarding the declining or somehow slowdown of the potential growth of SCG Group. But we would like to clarify and make you give more insight in terms of the viewpoint from SCGJWD into this thing. We actually has no worry about this, because the total production volume is still the same, even though the domestic consumption of, for example, the cement export and cement domestic, you see on the graph here that the domestic part, the gray bar, seems to be shrinking down from last year. But on the other hand, the cement export volume increased significantly, and which in turn making the total volume quite similar in both years. And from the logistic viewpoint, the export and cross-border activities actually contribute much more to us in terms of the revenue. So you see from the financial that actually the commodity business, which actually reflected to B2B transportation, the overall revenue that we made actually grow this year, as well as the GP has been growing every quarter as well. So we would like to just give you the confidence that there is no need to worry regarding the slowdown in terms of the construction industries in Thailand, and cement and building material are still being produced at full capacity, and the logistic needs to be done for this capacity that has been produced. Another business that are quite interesting is the automotive, which is one of our key industry that we serve. In year 2024, also another difficult year for this industry, because the production volume in Thailand has been declining around 20%, but compensating somehow by the import of the Chinese car. So we have adjust our strategy a bit and trying to gear more toward the EV cars and import Chinese car logistic activities. And the result is that we successfully maintain the revenue of year 24 to be at the same level as year 23. And based on our discussion with the automotive team, they're still quite confident that there are good opportunities for us to grow the revenue for automotive business in year 25, which came from the acquisition of new customers, as well as to acquire new scopes of work from existing customers, especially EV and Chinese car. So this is something that we would like to ensure, because there are some concern regarding the slowdown in this industry. On the other hand, another pillar of our growth came from the cold chain, cold storage business, which is actually growing quite well. We are adding more capacity into our warehouses space. This year, we will open up 4 new warehouses, which will help us to grow more in terms of the revenue. And last year, we also successfully ramped up the occupancy rate of cold chain storage every quarter, and we closed the year at the occupancy rate of around 75%, which is quite good in terms of profitability that this business can generate with this utilization rate. The business direction of the company, we aim to be ASEAN top integrated logistics and supply chain business, and we are going to execute our plan to 5 pillars of growth. That is the regional expansion, synergy within the group and partners, build up a new core competencies, grow into the consumer segment, as well as capture new business opportunities that are related to logistics. We also emphasize a lot on digitalization and innovation, as well as sustainability. Sustainability are not just something that what we need to do in order to comply with the trend and the regulations, but actually it is a business direction that we need to go ahead, because green logistics are actually one of the new business that is very promising, and SCGJWD is aimed toward providing a full solution for green logistics for our customer to help them to reduce the scope 3. We will roll out the plan for this sustainability and green logistics operation gradually, and we'll update you in every quarter regarding its improvement. We also emphasize a lot on inorganic growth. Last year, we actually made 2 major acquisitions, and we plan to do consistently the inorganic growth every year, because this is one of the main mechanisms that help us to reach our goals of growth in the next 5 years. Year 24 is a very challenging year for many industries, including logistics. SCGJWD also facing a lot of challenge, especially in terms of the stock price. It seems to be declining. There are some worry regarding the stock performance and all those things. But on the opposite, we have been working a lot on building more fundamentals, especially in year 24 is a year that we demonstrate a lot of synergy after we do the merger between SCG Logistics and JWD Info Logistics and becoming SCGJWD. Year 24 is the second year after our merge, and we have been doing a lot of business improvement, development, and activities. As shown on the following slide, I will go briefly through these. For example, SCGJWD has been doing a lot of acquisition last year. 2 major acquisitions are the acquired off-share of ANI company, Asia Network International Public Company Limited, which is actually listed on Stock Exchange of Thailand. This is a air freight GSA company, and we acquire around 20% of this company, and we become good partner and try to build synergy in terms of freight and air freight activities with them. We also acquire another company in Malaysia called Swift Haulage. We acquire also around 20% of this company, and now we are building more of the logistics activity between Thailand and Malaysia, especially the cross-border transportation and cold chain warehouse, which we just start the new project with Swift in Malaysia to build 3 cold storage warehouse around the country. We will have the illustration for you in the following slides as well in these activities. We also develop more in terms of the freight, and we spin off a new company from the mother company called SCGJWD Freight. This is still 100% owned by the SCGJWD, but the spin-off will help them to have more freedom to develop their business and possibly collaborate with some of the potential partners in the future. We also acquire another subsidiary in Vietnam called SCG International Vietnam, and now renamed to SCG Logistics Vietnam, which has contributed us to a lot of growth in terms of overseas revenue this year. We also doing a lot of organic activities like expanding the cold chain, collaborate with major partners. For example, we've been doing the bakery delivery for the Amazon shop, with the Amazon coffee shop that belongs to PTTOR nationwide. We also open up many new warehouses by Alpha Industrial Solution, which is our joint venture between us and Origin Property, which is one of the major developer, also a listed company in Thailand. We also opened up a new warehouse for document storage, a robotic warehouse called Data Safe Phase 2, already opened up last year. In September last year, we issued one tranche of bond with the total amount of 4.2 billion baht, which received a very well support from the investor. We believe that we still have a lot of potential in terms of the financing and funding, fundraising opportunities, especially in this situation where there are some inconfidence in the bond market in Thailand. We believe that we are in a good position to give confidence to investors, and that was reflected by the support that we received from our bond issuance both in year 23 and 24. We've been overbooked by around 2 times within a few days after starting the pre-sale period. We also doing a lot of activities apart from the inorganic growth, organic growth, financing. We also do in terms of ESG and trying to make more into the community. We received a number of respected awards. For example, we received the highly commended Supply Chain Management Award from Stock Exchange of Thailand. We received the Multi-Site Operator Store of the Year for our MiSpace Self-Storage Company from the Self-Storage Association of Asia. We also received the set ESG rating of AAA in year 24. So that is somehow we'd like to demonstrate our intention to not just develop the business and develop the fundamental growth of revenue and profitability. And at the same time, we also emphasize a lot on the sustainability and community point of view as well. We've been building a lot of synergy in year 24, including adding much more of the solar roof in our warehouses by using the capability from SCG. We also make use of underutilized assets in Chiang Mai and convert them into the cold storage warehouse. We take one new project with Alpha by selling that to our major customers. That is the Alpha Bangpradi project, which is under construction right now. This is a major project that we received from our customers last year, and it will be a 6-year period that we will work for them with a total amount of the revenue accounting to around 1.85 billion baht along 6 years. And we also support them in terms of turnkey solution in terms of warehouse. And Alpha, which is our joint venture, is supporting us in terms of building the warehouse for our customers. We are signing the joint venture agreement with Swift Haulage, which we acquired early last year, and now we are building more of the warehousing capabilities in Malaysia, especially the cold chain. So we will start by doing the first phase of cold chain construction of 11,000 square meters of temperature control warehouse in Shah Alam, and we will plan to expand 2 more in this year and next year. So this is something that we see that apart from the inorganic growth that we acquired the company, we follow by the active activities in terms of logistic organic expansion in Malaysia. Let me skip forward a bit to the development of other projects with the partners. We've been working with many of the foreign partners, especially the Chinese. We now have been signing the MOU with Ruyun Logistics and Speed Inter in order to do the temperature control cross-border transportation linkage between China, Vietnam, and Thailand. And we expect that these cross-border activities shall start soon within this year. We also signed a major service agreement with Big Rim Carrier and Carrier Thailand. That is the one I mentioned about the project Bangkradi. They assign us the total logistic turnkey service, and that worth around 1.85 million baht along the next 6 years. And this is one of the major activities that we are quite proud of last year, and it will contribute the revenue and profitability to us for years to come. We also recently just opened up a new cold storage, 2 new cold storage warehouses in Salaburi and Rangsit. This is, as I mentioned earlier, we plan to open 4 more this year, and 2 of them is already opened up and ready for operation right now. And this will help us to have a chance to further increase the revenue and profit of the cold chain business unit, which is one of the main pillars of growth for SCGJWD. We also signing the contract with our Vietnamese partner for Vietnam Construction Material Joint Stock Company, or we call in short the VCM. We are installing the material handling and transportation equipment for them in order to transport cement in Vietnam. And this is a long-term contract. We invest and secure the capacity and guarantee the volume from customer for many years from now. We believe that there are a lot of opportunity to grow more business in Vietnam. And after our acquisition of SCGJWD Logistics Vietnam last year, we believe that we'll be able to grow much more in Vietnam as well as the regional countries that surrounded Thailand and Vietnam with this company. As I mentioned earlier, apart from doing just business growth, revenue growth, profitability, we also focus on the green aspect of the business, and we aim for net zero by year 2050 with a lot of plans that we lay down and already executed. In year 2024, we successfully reduced the carbon emission by 10,976 tons, comparing to what we are emitting here, comparing to the total emission that we made from scope 1 and scope 2 in year 24, which is around 44.2 thousand tons of carbon. We also plan to do much more with a lot of activities in the pipeline. We installing solar roof, using the robotics system, reducing the usage of the energy by trying to optimize our operation, as well as utilizing the EV forklift, EV trucks, trying to use more in terms of the optimization of transportation mode, trying to avoid or reduce the usage of the road and usage of more of the multimodal such as rail or bus, the river transportation, for example. We also trying to do more in terms of the backhaul matching, load optimization, and we also right now in the R&D mode for new, technology that will help us to reduce the carbon emission in our transportation activity, which is one of the activities that release a lot of carbon every year. So those are some of the highlights that we have done through the past year, and we believe that year 25 will be still believe that it's going to be a difficult year, but we are confident that we will be able to grow our revenue and profit in the same momentum as we made last year. Take a look a bit at the financial performance highlight. We'll see that in year 2024, even though we somehow do not have much growth in terms of revenue. So we closed the year at 24.7 billion baht of revenue, comparing to year 23, which is around 23.9, 24 billion as well. So it's just 3% growth in terms of revenue. But we are successfully increasing the profitability margin. As you see that the gross profit margin is improving, the net profit margin is increasing, and we closed the year with a net core profit of 1.12 billion baht, comparing to 761 million baht last year. That is around 47% growth, which is somehow we believe that this momentum demonstrates the synergy of our merger, that how we try to optimize, even though the revenue doesn't grow that much, we are able to do cost optimization, reducing the expense, optimize the financing cost, as well as building the synergy with the partners in order to make more profit into our financial statement. Highlighting on some of the interesting business unit that many investors focus on. For example, the general warehouse has been operating very well throughout last year. Actually, it's been doing very well for many years after the COVID, and until now it's still operating very well, especially in Q4, where you see that the revenue has been growing significantly, as well as its GP margin, which grew from around 19.3% in Q3 into 35.5% in Q4. This is somehow supported by the warehouse sales that I mentioned. We received a new warehousing space in Lam Chabang from Alpha in around August last year and successfully sell the whole space in November. That makes the Q4 gross profit margin become much higher than what we achieved in Q3, as well as from last year. And we also maintain along the way always a very high occupancy rate of our warehouse. Automotive business also, I think, even though the figures doesn't show much in terms of the growth, but I think in terms of operation, we are satisfied with what we achieved, because the auto industry last year is not as, popular as year 23. But still, we still managed to be able to maintain the revenue size. Okay. Even though the profitability seems to be declining a bit, but we have ways that we believe that this year we'll be able to grow more than year 24. The cold storage warehouse also successfully grow its revenue, even though not very significant, but the margin also improving. We believe that by this year, once we open up the 4 new warehouses, we'll be able to increase more revenue and the profit into the business unit. Transportation also quite interesting in terms of the financial aspect, because we see some growth in terms of revenue for both the B2B transportation and direct-to-consumer transportation. And one thing that we would like to emphasize is the increase of gross profit margin. We see that the GP has been growing every quarter for B2B transport, and that is very significant for us, because the revenue size of this business unit is quite high. In the total year, the revenue size is around 8 to 9 billion baht. So every 1% of gross profit improvement will help us to go much more into the bottom line. And that is what we've been focusing on since the merger. And you see that the result of the synergy start showing up gradually since that time until now. We have reached, by end of Q4, the gross profit margin improvement to around 8%, comparing to less than 5% last year. Okay. I would like also to emphasize a bit on the overseas activities, because overseas is also one of the pillars of growth that we are trying to push forward. And we now have operation in 9 countries around ASEAN, and we try to build up much more in terms of the linkage between these countries and Thailand as well. And you see that in year 24, we have grown the revenue from 2.76 billion baht to 3.6 billion baht approximately in year 24, which is a huge jump in our revenue. And at the same time, we had a significant increase of gross profit margin from 8.2% to 12.2%. So that is something that is interesting, and I think we will be focusing much more in terms of overseas activity this year and years to come as well. And as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we are now building up more of the logistic operation activity linkage with our partners in overseas, especially in China, Vietnam, Malaysia, as well as Indonesia and Philippines. So we believe that overseas will be contributing much more in terms of revenue and profit to the company. And apart from the last slide, which is the consolidated performance, our profitability from overseas also came from affiliates, both in Thailand and overseas. And you see that we have been receiving quite a healthy amount of profit sharing from our partner, both in Q3 and Q4. Q4, I would say that the profit sharing seems to reduce down from our expectation because of some of the accounting adjustment that happened in one of the partner in Cambodia. But if we taking out that part, actually you see that the performance in Q4 in terms of the equity income is in line with most of the analysts' report. I would say like that. And some of those adjustments are actually defer the revenue and profitability to Q1 this year. So we expect that in Q1 we will have a good amount of equity income comparable or more than what we achieved on average last year. We are also trying to work more on optimizing not just the increasing revenue, reducing the direct costs, but we are also trying to control the SG&A and finance costs as much as we can. The SG&A last year, if you look solely from the financial statement or from the graph, it may look like we increased the SG&A quite a lot comparing to the year 23. But actually, there are certain one-time write-off items that happened during the year, and that is amount around 239 million baht of one-time item. If we take that out, that is the real SG&A, which is actually not so much increased from year 23. And what we are intending to do right now is to cut down as much expense as possible, control the growth of the inflation in terms of SG&A, and trying to reduce the SG&A to revenue every year. That is the target that we are trying to do. And also, the finance costs seem to increase. That's definitely inevitable because we issue more bonds. We issue already 2 tranche of bond in these 2 years to do more investment. But that also coming back to us is about profit sharing and dividend that we receive. But if we look solely for the finance cost, it seems to increase. This year, we will try to control the finance costs and, if possible, trying to reduce them down. We plan to focus more on certain divestment of assets that we think that might help us to reduce our financial burden and reducing certain portion of the loan. But at the same time, still we can do the lease back to do the operation. We have planned to sell some assets to the REIT, We also recently just divested a company in Taiwan called CSLF to our partner in Taiwan. So we got a lot of cash back from there, and we plan to reduce more of finance costs this year. In February, we have just repaid one tranche of bond amount 500 million baht without re-rolling or everything, just paying off from our cash flow. So we have certain, I think we have a good cash position and financial position, and we have a surplus cash every quarter that we will try to accumulate and trying to repay the loan as well as accumulate for paying the dividend for our shareholders every year. Looking into the bottom line, the net profit, I already mentioned the number, so I would go briefly that we actually in this year 24 we grow around 47% in terms of bottom line. We grow the net profit margin from 3.2% to 4.5%, which is somehow I think demonstrate our confidence and our pure intention to develop the business and fundamentals of the company. We believe that the synergy that we are building within our group and with our partner right now will demonstrate much more in terms of profitability growth and net profit margin increase, achieve higher profit in year 25 from our performance organically as well. The financial position in year 24 is as shown on the screen, and the financial ratio are still in a very safe zone. We have a lot of surplus cash. By the end of last year, we have around 2.4 billion baht of cash reserve that we already used some part of that, around 500 million to pay the bond in February. We will pay dividend in May, around 500 million as well, and we will have around 1.4 billion baht of cash reserve for our business operation, working capital, and investment. In this year, we have certain plan for organic investment and some M&A, but we believe that we will try to limit the investment size to be not as high as the previous 2 years, and we focus much more on the organic growth, building the synergy, reducing the cost and expense, as well as reducing the finance cost by repaying certain debts that we are, let's say, afford to repay without re-roll or making additional lending. You can always contacting us through our IR channel, our IR team, with the email, phone number, and even from our website, IG, we have the YouTube channel and all those social media. Please feel free to reach out for us. We'll be very happy to give you more information and details because the presentation is so short. We don't have much time to give you all the information that you may need. Please reach out for us and getting for information. Also, we have produced a lot of a series of podcast video clips on our YouTube channels and post it almost every month. It also has a subtitle in English. So if you're interested in understanding more of SCGJWD, what are the new developments that are happening every month, you can always follow us on that channel and understand more about our company. And we are also happy to have a personal or one-on-one discussion if you need to get more info and need to pinpoint on more of the direct question to us. Please let us know. I think that's all for what I have for today, and the time is almost up. I'd like to send the stage back to the stock exchange. Please.
This session has come to the end. Thank you very much, investor and corporate, for joining the conference. If you do need further detail, please feel free to drop us an email. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you ครับ ขอบคุณครับ